is to center up. This is a independent jaws, so you can move them around, which is good because you can do offset turning. You can clamp square things or odd shaped things. It's not so good for speed because it you have to actually set an indicator on there to center it. And we do not want the boring bar, so we will take that off. And the last thing we turned was a chamfer on the inside, so our top slide was set over at a mild angle. Just put it back. I don't actually use the top slide for sort of just turning adjustments because I have a digital readout, but it's nice when it's all squared up. Okay, square enough. Now, I have my 3D printed indicator holder, holding an indicator, not surprisingly. All right. Oh, look, that's actually, I think I've got my depth of field sorted out a little bit better. Once I get over here, I will make sure the camera is aimed at where we want it. And I'm going to just give that a tentative spin to make sure I'm not, and I'm doing this as close as I might to the jaws because it, we could have it centered there and it not be centered this way. So once I get it centered on the axis, we will sweep this way and see if we need to bump things around. And the whole point of this is we're going to turn the outside and the end so they are, I mean, the end is just for show, but we'll turn the outside so it is nice and round because, these striations are because this is extruded, so it came through a die, so it's more or less round, but it isn't smooth. Okay, so how's my, all right, we gotta move the challenge, of course, is to get the everything in focus. Yeah, there, more or less. Mostly what we care about is not the individual reading. I can dial my way in and out much as I want, but is, how much deviation there is as we spin around. Now, what did I do with the chuck key? Oh, I buried it under the carriage. Okay, so usually I do these in pairs. So we'll start here. It just happens to be number 2. So we're at, let's call that, minus 11 and, plus a bunch. So if it pushed this way, it means we have to go that way. So I think. It's always a challenge for me, if it's too tight the other way, to remember which way to do the things. Oh, that's embarrassing. What I have done is unscrewed the chuck rather than, so we're never going to get centered up that way. All right, I'm going to just grab this, snug that up, and not using a digital readout at the moment, so we'll swing that out of the way and loosen off the belt so it'll spin more freely. All right, and that way it shan't unscrew itself. Okay, so let's start again. So we are at, this is again a number 2, we're at about 7 and 22. Not far at all. Yep, well, I'm at least going in the right direction. And I just let off one side, or at 15, and just a smidge more. That's probably fine. We need to fix the other side. We are at 14 and 20, so no, other way. As I said, because we had a piece of that came from the same stock before, I got lucky and I didn't move things off too much. So we're now down to, we can basically fix it just by clamping force. And my suspicion is this is about as tight, as accurate as we're going to get here. And we're within about 1 thou. So that's pretty darn good for rough stock. Okay, so the next question is, how square is it? So I am going to, I'm going to move the carriage, the cross slide a bit so I'm in 0, and I'm just going to drive my way down the thing here. So yeah, so we're low by about 1/4 thou. Yeah, I'll admit I've not tried to do this much, and I am not sure if I can do anything. Yeah, no, I don't think I can. All right. Yeah, so you can see we're getting definitely more at that end because we're